How expected of you. Happy Wednesday, everyone. A senior executive for Disney ABC News, which is hosting the Trump-Harris debate, is a close personal friend and major donor of Kamala Harris. Disney is reassuring viewers that this will have no effect on the debate, as they were planning on Trump all along. Nikki Haley has urged Trump to quit whining about Kamala Harris avoiding the press and get back to what he does best, insulting Nikki Haley. Mark Zuckerberg has unveiled an outlandish Roman statue of his wife. Meanwhile, his wife unveiled this highly accurate statue of him. 210 dogs and owners showed up for a movie event in Vermont, just a few shy of a Guinness World Record. Unfortunately, there were a few last-minute cancellations. They always work. Washington, D.C. has once again been named the least desirable city in America, according to a new poll. Mayor Bowser disagrees, saying they didn't poll enough carjackers. But is D.C.'s unpopularity due to crime or homelessness or cost of living? Could be just a rat problem.
Nice.
Oh. And a study found that ugly people tend to live shorter lives than those who are good looking. Well, I guess I better get my affairs in order, said one man. Oh, they like the insults, huh? What's going on here? All right, let's do a monologue. So, anyone remember that thing that happened a month ago with former President Donald Trump when his ear looked like Van Gogh's? Funny how that's all growing sort of fuzzy already. The story, not the ear. Thanks to our ever-curious media, it's now fading like Joe Biden's memories of today's breakfast. But could that ugly event be part of a bigger problem? Could it be that there's a shift in modern life where norms of behavior and competence have been disrupted by the very questioning of the norms and standards themselves? You can see and feel it in stores, customer service, doctor's offices, or just on the street. In drugstores, you now got to call someone to get deodorant. You get asked for tips on a screen after you served yourself. The illegal who punched a cop is free to commit another crime. Protesters destroy public and private property, and all charges are dropped. Teachers take down world maps and put up pride flags. And speech is oppressive, but menacing on subways isn't. It's like we replaced our country's foundation with quicksand. The idea that meritocracy is oppressive has finally fulfilled its dream. We're now all equally incompetent. You can credit DEI to be sure. The proponents sure love to praise it until the results pour in. Meanwhile, we forego experience and training as we deem older generations as oppressive and irrelevant. Add to that the ubiquity of smartphones, and you have a workforce too distracted to care. Hell, even I check Facebook when Judge Jeanine starts rambling about how we don't execute enough teens. Which brings me back to the Secret Service. Turns out that the Trump mess was no bug in the system. It is the system. A new report from Real Clear Politics reporter Susan Crabtree quotes sources within the service who claim that the agency has suffered more lapses than Cat's car insurance. First, 2 Secret Service agents were recently photographed dead asleep while on duty at Mar-a-Lago, and instead of nudging them awake, the photos were circulated to others on the detail. The sleepers were never disciplined, but everybody got a good laugh. In 2019, 2 Chinese nationals simply strolled onto the grounds of Trump's Florida home, perhaps thinking it was Disney's Magic Kingdom. Worse, the Secret Service can't even protect itself. 2 months ago, a man in shorts and a T-shirt walked through an open door in the Miami field office and spent the night. First, he took a shower, then downloaded porn on a computer. It's weird. I usually do those 2 things in reverse. You too. Next morning, he asked employees where he could get a cup of coffee, and they got him coffee. Hell, I don't get treated that well at Starbucks, and I own Starbucks. He was only caught when he entered a defensive tactics class, and someone finally asked who the hell he was, which is like Brian Kilmeade at a Brian Kilmeade book signing.
He's a friend.
I know. Now, look, no agency is perfect. But when some clown can wander into a classified facility, watch porn, wash up, spend the night, have breakfast, and then attend a tactical training session, is it any wonder a whack job could ride up on a bike and shoot Trump? Best Buy has better security. But there's more. In April last year, a drunk neighbor burst into the home of National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. He probably took off, though, when he saw Sullivan. The guy looks like he escaped an autopsy.
Damn.
Now, Sullivan gets Secret Service detail, yet somehow a drunk still got past this crack squad of security pros and confronted Sullivan in his home in the dead of night. Who was on post that night? Paul Blart? Two intruders recently breached security at the Obama's house in Hawaii. There weren't any guard dogs except on the menu. And when Barack was president, an intruder jumped the White House fence and got inside. So forget the conspiracy theories unless it's a conspiracy of decline, and it's everywhere. True, nepotism and DEI hires have real-world consequences, but the old-fashioned notion of meritocracy seems like a long way away. As we wake up to deteriorating cities, schools that indoctrinate but don't educate, and law enforcement more handcuffed than the criminals. It's not just the Secret Service, it's society. We didn't just break a few eggs to make an omelet, we broke the pan that makes the damn omelet. The errors by the Secret Service seem the result of a distracted, untethered generation, divorced from direction or discipline. This is not who America was, not the America that won 2 world wars or even the Cold War. Today, we couldn't win the war on gingivitis. Gingivitis. Let's welcome tonight's guest. Like his kids, you get to see him twice a month. Actor, writer, and comedian Jamie Lissow. She makes liberals tense with her common sense. Host of Emily Saves America, Emily Wilson. She's so libertarian, she started charging her unborn baby rent. New York Times bestselling author, Fox News contributor, Kat Schiff. And he picks his teeth with the Washington Monument. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former Jamie, I bet you can relate with the Secret Service and that you both struggle to do the one job you're supposed to do.
Yeah, twice a month. I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had very similar things with my, my divorce as that happened in this whole assassination thing. The guy was on the roof and I didn't see him for a long time. That exact thing happened to me when I came home early from work. And rumor has it that there were 2 shooters.
Enjoy court.
This article, it really is frightening and disgusting. Like all the things that they're like the 2 guys falling asleep on duty, which I do feel for those guys a little bit. Last night in bed with my girlfriend, she claimed I fell asleep when it was my turn, but it's I just went to. You said in your monologue that everything's being locked up. I don't live in New York. I just noticed that for the first time. For anybody that's they lock up. I want to buy toothpaste.
Right.
Toothpaste is locked up. Deodorant's locked up and soap is locked up. And I was been looking at some of the homeless in New York, and I was like, I don't think they use that stuff. I don't think we need to lock it up. And but just last, I want to say it's a very touchy situation because some of those Secret Service agents did, when the moment it was fired, they were human shields, and some of them really tried to do their jobs. And I can't, Greg, I love working for you on your show, but I don't know if I could be a human shield. That's a level of loyalty. I would be like, Greg, what if I just brought a shield? Do you know what I mean? Does it have to be me? Could I just?
I don't know.
Do I have to die? Yeah, I brought a shield.
Yeah. That would help. I'll take that shield. But you're right. I do feel bad for the Secret Service because they're just trying to do their job. That feels like administrative decline, certain kinds of policies, Emily, that they're enacting. But I don't think it's just about Secret Service. There's a vibe in all of our institutions and services, I feel, that we've somehow abandoned some kind of desire for, higher achievement or competence.
I was going to say, especially with service in places like Los Angeles, everywhere you go now, you're literally a burden.
Yeah.
Things are locked up, and you ask them to come over, and they're like, And I'm like, I'm so sorry. What else were you doing? It's the same with when you go to a restaurant now. I will literally at some point look to my boyfriend like, did we like do something to this person? Like, were we in a lawsuit? Did we like date someone in their family? Because I'm like, why am I being treated this bad? And then they'll give you the thing to tip, and they're like, it starts at 22%.
Yeah.
22% is insane. A tip is when you have excellent service, and now they do it on very weird medical procedures. I've been asked for a tip. I'm like, oh, so if I don't tip, are you just gonna like botch me next time I'm in here?
Now I'm thinking about what medical procedure you have. Where you, what medical...
To be fair, it's just laser, which is very, very normal. But I'm just like, so if I don't tip you, what is going to happen next time? We'll see.
I usually group that when I go play laser tag so I can knock 2 out at once.
Very similar, very similar.
Isn't it? I don't know, Kat. You know what? Is this something, is it fair to be specific to Secret Service? I think that it's unfair to them. I think this is something that we're seeing everywhere.
Well, I wouldn't place it specifically on DEI either.
Yeah.
I would place it on a lack of accountability that I think spans across many government institutions. Think about the 2 Secret Service agents found sleeping at Mar-a-Lago, and we're not in any trouble for that.
Right.
What job could you be sleeping at and not get in trouble?
Well, Brit Hume.
There's no job. There really is. Cashier. Think about a cashier.
Yes.
Okay. Let alone 2 cashiers. Heads would roll at that Chipotle.
Yes.
And arguably less important than protecting the life of a former president, current presidential candidate. Arguably. No job. You can't sleep.
Yes.
You will face consequences, but why would you try if you don't have to?
Yeah, and I think they give these guys enough rest because their job is so important that they don't have them work around the clock. I don't know. You're a bodyguard.
But there's some things there is no feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
If you're executive protection, you're executive protection, or you're not. That's not to your point, somebody's bowl of Chipotle burrito getting up. It's not the same thing as a bullet bouncing off my ear. I think there's some levels to it. But I think the bigger thing is that we're in a cultural war in this country. Because the other day somebody was giving me because like, well, you're not religious. I'm like, no, I'm not religious, but our entire country is based off of Christianity values, hard work, meritocracy, you put your best foot forward, the 10 Commandments, we follow it. So whether you're an atheist or not, you still grow up in this culture. And what we're seeing since the pandemic is a revolt from that culture. They don't want any of the things that our customs have pushed this. I'll hire anyone who can do the job because it's my right to do the job if I want to try the job. So we're seeing it's a completely different mindset. They're hiring people who only want to get the job, and then as soon as they get the job, the first thing they tell you is the days they need off.
Yes.
Okay, it's not the same where when you want to be, you come in the ground level and I'm going to work every day. I'm going to be that guy because hard work pays off, integrity pays off. The good thing, you do good things happen. They're saying, no, I don't want to do any of that. I want the job, but wait, I'm tired. I'm going to take a nap. So I'm going to take this nap, and they don't get fired because the supervisor is probably taking a nap too.
Yes.
So it's just across the board. It's a huge cultural battle we're in right now.
Yeah, it's true. All right, we got to move on. Up next. Oh, thank you. They're applauding my tease.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.